Join us for this episode to find out why flow looks like this. Alright, here we are, taking apart the Bugsta. So we're going to try and assess exactly what damage has been done, and also exactly which parts we need to order in the order we need to order them, if you see what I mean. Okay, right, I'm going to take this battery cover off just as it's going to be spare. We don't need that right now. First off, I suppose we better cut all the ties that are on here. There we go. Take the ties off. Unfortunately, these held the suspension, but I think the extra stress transferred to the servo mount and utterly destroyed any sort of linkage we have there. So you can see the extent of the damage on the pin, slightly bent. So that's a pin replacement. The arm itself is actually intact, but probably going to replace that. You can see in there. So the Cvd bar is also bent, so that's going to need replacing. We've sheared off the mount here, but I can't see entirely how we're going to get to that, so we're going to have to take the entire section apart. So we're going to get a little cup like so for all the parts. I know, it's horrible. So we're going to spin this out and take off the front bumper. Let the dog see the rabbit, mate. Into there. That's the front section just taken off. So we spin her over. And we need to take off this one at the back here. And the bumper's fallen forward. So bumper is now removed. Bamzo. Bit scuffed, but actually not too bad. Right, I'm going to leave that screw in place for the time being. Now let's see what we can see at the front here. So, okay, so the plate is actually intact. It's the front aluminium arm here that's gone. The front plastic arm here that's sheared. So that's good. We can replace that on its own. That's handy. If we can loosen these off like so. Well, that saved us 30 quid on an aluminium plate, if that's the case. Alexa? Alexa? Fuck off. Thank you. Sorry about that. Sometimes she just wants to steal the attention. Alright, that's good. Okay. I'm going to knock those over. Let's put these over there for a second. Right. Snap. There we go. I'm probably going to have to buy some thread lock as well to make sure these all get thread locked back in. There we go. Oh, he's steady now. I don't think that's going to clear the wheel. Yes, it is. Now we've removed the suspension. It'll spin round. I have some nice bossa nova music or something playing, elevator music playing, just to pass the time. Yeah, maybe not. Okay, now I'm going to say we need to remove the servo mount. I just want to take a look underneath, over the top before I go too far. There's that servo arm that's shattered. I don't know whether you can see that. Just here, shattered through. Okay, that's good. That's a lot cheaper than I thought already. Excellent. Okay, good. There we go. Can everyone see what we're doing? I'll turn that around a little. You can see we're just taking off this central spine plate, which has got forceps. Aha! Forceps. There's no escape, small screw. Snap. Excellent. Right, that's the two servo mount arms removed. Now we need to snap the top plate off. Yeah, so the drive shaft is there. There we go. Moving everything away. And you can see that pinion joints here. This is completely sheared in half. Nice. Right, so the only thing popping that on at the moment should be this pop ball here. So we're going to try and take that off. Oh, actually, what we're going to do, by the look of it, that's going to slide off there, like so. Excellent. Okay, so now we've removed the front suspension. I'm going to have to pop that on. Okay, so entire front suspension removed, but that is the front suspension removed. You can see the linkage damage there. It's just sheared both sides of that port off, so that's a bit of a problem, but that is just two small metal brackets to replace that. There's the gearbox inside there, all nicely greased up. I will give that a check through for dirt and particulates, etc., but it seems to be pretty good. So it's not a new belly pan, it's the brackets mounted to the belly pan that need replacing. So actually a cheaper job than I thought. Here's our drive shaft. Let's have a look, see if there's any discernible damage to the drive shaft. Pen that down. Let's roll it. It's just on the pegs. Looking at the gap underneath, I can say that it looks a little bit like it might be a tiny bit bent. There is a stress mark here, but I think that might just be from where it's just sits in the bracket, but I have a feeling that is bent. They're about £3. I'm going to get a new one of those too. So we've got here our dismembered our dismembered section. So that's a replacement there, but I'm going to, as I say, going to get an aluminium port for that. And then I'm also going to replace both of the CVD bars in complete the wheel mount as well, with the enclosed bracket, might as well, and that way we aren't risking replacing some parts and then finding that others are completely damaged. I'm pleased about the bottom plate though, because that does mean I don't actually have to disassemble the rest of the car, which is always nice. These here are actually in very good nick. A little bit chewed on the inside, but nothing serious, so I might actually leave those as plastic, because I'm trying to keep the weight down as much as possible. Once we do this sort of the second rebuild, where I probably turn it brushless, then we won't need to worry so much about weight, because the brushless motor will more than cope. So that should let us take out the CVD joint. We can take the back out there, push that through. Oh, one of the bearings has come through as well. That's not good. Slide that off. Now, does that need any work? Doesn't appear to. Right, so CVD joint down. I'll show you those in a second. I just want to put this bearing back in here. These bearings here, I don't know yet. They don't actually look to be worn at all, so maybe not. There is the remains of the suspension link. There we go. So this arm here had this attached, which is the connects to the servo and steers, basically applies power to both wheels when you turn the wheel. So that's going to need replacing the aluminium as well. And I think, looking at this drive shaft, I think it might have a very slight bow in it. So we're going to be taking one of those as well. They're only £3, they're not expensive, so might as well replace that while we've got the car apart. Front bumper is in good nick. We do need to get some more screws for that, but that's a tiny pack of screws, couple of pounds, not big deal, and we can always use spare screws, so that's not a problem. So the CVD joints, I don't know whether you can see just how badly bent that is. If I put it over a straight line, yeah, there you go. So you can see that on the straight line of the pad, that is rather curved. So they're both exactly the same as that. They're both mangled to fuck. So they'll be replaced. Right, so we have the CVD bars. 2 of those we're going to replace. That's about £10 ish, so not a big deal for that. We're going to have to replace the mounts for the steering arms. We're going to do that in aluminium, definitely. This is that one, and this one shattered, so they'll get replaced in aluminium. The actual arms themselves here, these are going to get replaced in aluminium as well. I think for the time being, these mounts are going to stay as hardened plastic. I'm probably going to look at some more bushes. I think they come in packs of 4, so 2 and 2 for the front suspension, so I might well have a look at those as well. But all of these mounts here are actually in very good working order. They're not damaged. The shocks themselves, oil filled, are still operating very good. The gearbox itself there is undamaged, which is incredibly good, because that's going to be pricey. Needs a bloody good cleanup by the look of it, but it's not damaged. So I've just got to take out the other CVD bar, which is actually slightly more bowed than the other side, but we're going to take that out and replace that. I might even go for replacing these hexi nuts with aluminium ones too. I think they come in aluminium, so maybe, but there doesn't seem to be a hell of a lot of torque damage on those, so maybe not for the time being. I want to add as little weight to the car as I can get away with, whilst at the same time making it as strong as possible. So total cost is actually probably 10 or 20 quid less than we first imagined it was, which is helpful. But stay tuned, we're going to be running this as a series as we rebuild flow and then get her back on the track.